Hi tribe, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about the best investments you can make in your 20s and 30s. All right, so it's kind of two-part. The first part is we'll be focusing on money and personal finance, and the second part is more of the softer skills. But I think this are the most important investments that you can make. Equally or even more than the personal finance stuff, and you will see why. All right, so I'm going to start with the personal finance stuff, of course. So number one, the best investment you can make in your 20s and 30s is educating yourself about how investments work. All right, so learning about compounding interest, learning about rent cost averaging, investing in tax-free savings investments, investing in shares and unit trusts and exchange traded funds. All these are so important, and you know that we've spoken about this numerous times. Okay, then the second one is learning good money habits. All right, it is so important to start learning about good financial management and habits from your 20s, even as a teenager. If you can do that, but in your 20s and 30s, it sets up the tone for the rest of your life. Okay, then learning to live within your means is, I think that is the cornerstone of managing your money. Living within your means, regardless of how much money you make. And I know some people always have this argument, no, but you can just make more money. Yeah, you can make more money but spend all of it. Then what? How are you investing? How are you saving? How are you making sure that you're securing your future? So regardless of how much money you make, you need to live within your means. All right, then setting financial goals for yourself is so important. And I often ask this question. I say, you set goals to lose weight, you set goals to advance yourself, you set goals for everything else, but what are your financial goals, right? So that is very important, and I'm going to be doing a video just specifically on setting financial goals and doing a vision board around your money. Okay, then the last one when it comes to money and making the best investments in your 20s and 30s is you need to think about retirement planning already in your 20s, in your 30s, if you haven't even started in your 20s, which is much better off, because remember of compounding interest. All right, and I think on this channel and everywhere else I speak so much about them, so I just wanted to give a bit of an overview on those. All right, so very important to start investing, learn about how it all works, and actually put your money in the market, because oftentimes people are paralyzed by all the information. Just put your money into a tax-free savings investment and start learning from them. Okay, very important. And living within your means, I can never say this enough, ever. All right, regardless of how much money you make, you need to live within your means, or else you will always be stressed out, anxious, feeling shameful, and just dealing with a lot when it comes to money. You really need to learn that good habit. All right, so that's the money stuff. Now let's talk about the softer skills. But you know, I know it's called soft skills, and yet the soft skills make up the most important part of our lives. All right, so I have quite a few here, but I'll go through them nice and shortly and just straight to the point. Number one, and I'm gonna go right there. I thought it would be the last one, but it's gonna be the first one. You have to marry right. Okay, that is the best investment you can make for yourself. All right, in your 20s and 30s, because normally that's when people get married. Even if you do it later, perfect. But what?
Or if you want to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, or if you want to, according to Pam, if you do want to. But if you do want to get married, please marry right. This is so important. This is so important because who you marry can be the difference between you succeeding and not succeeding, right? And I think I've seen it somewhere on social media that for an ambitious woman, the only other person you can be with is someone who's supportive. You cannot be with someone who wants to compete with you. You cannot be with someone who thinks that their career and their life is more important than you. You have to marry right. And guys, you must pray about your partner and not just look at, oh no, they bought me flowers. There are finer things in someone's character that says, this is the person that I can marry, this is the person I will build with. All right, don't be blinded by roses, dates, trips, and all of those things. They are wonderful, and you deserve them, but you deserve them with the right person. Okay, the character of a person who you marry, guys, hey, you will see flames if you marry the wrong person. That's all I'm gonna say. You will be stressed out, you will never reach your potential, you will suffer. Basically, you will suffer if you don't be right. So please do yourself a favor, ask God for wisdom, for discernment if you are looking for a life partner, if you're looking to be married. It is one of the most important decisions you will ever make. All right, so that's number one. So another best investment you can make in your 20s and 30s is investing in your growth. What I often see, people will go to university and finish their degrees or honors or whatever it is, then they stop. It's like, oh, I've gained all the knowledge in the world. No, you have to read books, listen to amazing podcasts, take courses, or even further your studies. But you have to keep on growing. You have to keep on educating yourself. All right, it is very, very important. And people just get into the red race, right? Where you go to work, you come back, and because you're so tired and you're so pissed off from your job that you don't like, they don't have time to do productive stuff, productive learning. You know, you'd rather come home and watch, I don't know what plays on TV. Rubbish, man. Just complete rubbish. You're listening to rubbish. You're listening to Mgozi all the time. Those things will not build you. Yes, as I've always said, relaxation is important and resting is important, but you cannot always be resting. You have to put in the work in terms of your own growth, in terms of your own learning. Then the third one, take risks. This one is so important. It's so important. And if I can even liken it to personal finance, because the higher the risk, the higher the reward, right? The more risks you take, the more rewards you will get. It's not going to happen overnight that, okay, I've taken this risk. For example, let's say you leave your job to start something on your side hustle, has been making money. Now you're jumping in on the thing fully. It won't happen overnight. And sometimes you'll fail. But I think we are so obsessed with success as young people that you would rather stick to something that is not, that you don't even like or love anymore, just so that you can hold on to how people see you, right? How you see yourself is the most important thing. Do you value yourself? Do you think you're worthy with or without the stuff? That is so important. Taking risks is everything. And I think, and I would encourage more and more younger people to start doing it, because most of the time you don't have responsibilities. Most of the time you don't have all these things going on. And you still have the vitality to try new things. There is so much for you out there. There is so much for you. Take risks and don't be afraid to fail. Actually, you will probably fail. I've failed a couple of times myself. I've taken risks, but I don't think I would be the same person I am if I worked in a corporate. Yes, there's nothing wrong with that. You can even take risks while working in a company where you put yourself out there more, where you are entrepreneurial in that role that you are in, and you can move up much quicker. But don't just sit there and accept crumbs from life. Life has so much for you. God has so much for you. Okay. Then the other one is, don't rush to look like you've made it. Actually, this one, I posted something on Instagram. I think I reshared something. The goal is to be rich, not look like it. A lot of people are out here looking like they've made it, and yet they know that they're in pain when they're at home. They know that they're anxious. They know that, you know what, things are not okay. So it's not so much about what you look like. Yes, you want to be put together because how you present yourself to the world matters, of course, but you don't want to be maxing out credit card from credit card, personal loans, and sustaining a certain type of lifestyle just so that you can think actually, we don't care. We don't care. You know, we don't care if you look rich. That's on you. That's on you, honey. But be sure that you are building. Be sure that you're building and that you can sustain that lifestyle that you're building. I think that's important, sustainability. All right. Then the best investment also that you can make in your 20s and 30s is be patient with yourself. Be patient. Be patient. And if you're watching this, I know I sound like a Muruti now, But yeah. If you're watching this, I pray patience over you, that God can shape you and you realize that things take time and it's okay. You know, I know sometimes you can see your friends and other people looking like they are doing what you don't know, how they're reaching those things. You don't know what's going on. You don't know the full picture. Be patient with yourself. Learn, put in the work. It is so important. Okay. Then I think another very important investment that you can make is forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. We all make mistakes. We all do. I've made mistakes. Pam, you've made mistakes. But your mistakes shouldn't shatter you. Your mistakes shouldn't put you in such a shameful state that you can't get over them. You know, it's so important. We make mistakes. You're human, but you learn from those and you move on. All right, swiftly so. Okay. Then another thing which I think is an investment is traveling. If you can travel, you know, you don't have to go to Dubai to say you've traveled. You can travel to Gqeberha. You know, you can travel to Limpopo, Cape Town, Kruger, but just invest in experiences more than things. Things, like I always say, are wonderful, but trust me, what is even more wonderful is experiences. Actually, funny thing, we were talking about travel influencers the other day with Pam, and you know, we look at all these places they go to, and I'm like, oh, that would be so nice. And Pam is like, you would never be a travel influencer. I'm like, hey, boy, Pam. She's like, no, because you are the type of person to go somewhere and you don't even know where your phone is, because you are immersed yourself in the experience, in being with your loved ones, in experiencing that which you are there to do. So I've seen so many times where people go to a place and they're just so focused on taking pictures. I'm like, come on, man, there's more to life than always being on social media taking pictures for everything. No, some of the best people, some people are enjoying their lives to like insanity, and we don't even know them because they are not on social media. Social media is not everything. And we're actually talking about this with Pam, that social media is such a warped reality that, I mean, how many people are in the world? 8 billion now, whatever it is. And of that percentage, of that number, such a small percentage are on social media. So it's not even a proper reality. It's such a small number of people. I know people who are multimillionaires and don't even care about social media. You know, people who are really, truly living their best life. There's nothing wrong with social media for sure. It can have a positive influence if you're following the right people and you're learning. But always comparing yourself with social media. People are paid to curate this stuff for you, okay? It's not reality. So enjoy being with your family, enjoy being with your loved ones. That money can never ever buy, all right? Then I think it brings me nicely into cultivating good relationships. You know, I see so many, you know, actually, let me be honest with you. The other time, I don't know what came over me, but I was like, I saw someone throwing a birthday and it was on social media. And I was like, sure, I wonder how many people would come to my birthday. Like, why do people get all these friends? You know, I was like, and literally with me, I have 5 good quality, beautiful friendships. You know, people I know I can rely on, people cheer me on, people I can be honest with, people, I remember even one of my friends, Queen, I can go to her house, we'll have lunch, we'll make something, and we'll take a nap. I mean, come on, you know, true friendships. Invest in quality over quantity. Quantity does not say you have quality of life, okay? It is. And I mean, even friends, like I remember when I quit my job and started doing this thing, I was flat broke. Mother sticking broke, okay? And I had my friends who would come over with a bottle of wine and they would buy food and would chill, not pressure me to go out. And I never ever want to look like I'm rich. If I don't have it, I ain't got it. But what I know for sure is I will, and I'm making my way to multi-millionaire status. But it's a real thing, it's a fact, it's not fabricated somewhere in the socials just so that I can look good here. Okay, then some of the best investments that you can make in your 20s and 30s is to learn to say no. Being able to set boundaries. You have no idea how many people, 40s, 50s, they can't say a simple no. Like I've always said, me, No is here at the tip of my tongue. I can say no with comfort, right? I'm always able to help. Whenever I can, I help. But there are things that are unreasonable, things that are just stupid, that I'm not going to be part of. And saying no, simply put, you need to learn that in your 20s and 30s. Hopefully much earlier, thankfully. If you can learn it earlier, much better, right? Then again, don't be afraid to start over. You have so many people you've made bad decisions. Now you just feel like you have to stick it through, because don't be afraid to start over. You're still so young, so young. And I think we have such a disconnect between time and where we are, right? Because I think there is this pressure that in your late 20s, 30s, you must have it together. Ma'am, sir, I don't have my life together. Please. Half the time, I'm reflecting. I'm like, okay, but I don't like this. How can I don't think anyone ever stands on a hilltop and says, oh, look at me. I have everything together. I have nothing more to learn. No, it doesn't happen. Okay? So don't be afraid to start over. And this pressure to look like you've succeeded, to do this and do that and drive this and it's just let it go. You don't have to be part of that whole thing. You can you can literally live for yourself. And one of the things that I tell my son, and it's a quote that I keep on telling over and over and over again, I say, the thinking for yourself is still the most legendary thing you can do for yourself. Thinking for yourself is still the most revolutionary thing that you can do for yourself. Questioning and saying, but why do people do this? Or why are all these expectations? Doing you and going according to in your lane, staying in your lane and reaching for what you truly want and deserve, right? That pressure is too much, man. That pressure is too much. And you are still young. I'm in my 30s and I'm still young. There's so much that can still change in my life, so much positivity. And if I strangle myself and I put myself in a corner and say, no, but people can't see me, like, who are you? Why can't you see? No, just do you. Then, almost at the end, you will pay school fees. You will pay school fees in your 20s and 30s, maybe even in your 40s. And what do I mean by that? I'll give you an example. When I started and I worked with a company, I won't mention the name. Literally, I went all over the place. It was my fault, not theirs. They're not their fault. Because if you tell people that your services cost 2 rand, they will pay you 2 rand. And I charged them 2 rand for services that were worth 120 rand, as an example. So you will pay your school fees, and I don't want to say you'll be taken advantage of, because that's information I did not know. I did not know how to price myself. I did not know, I was afraid to do so. So all of those things, they're just part of experiences to actually get you to a place where you know how much to charge, how to charge, and all of those things. You will pay school fees. So don't feel like you're being taken advantage of, okay? Very, very important. Then I want to finish off with Pam's. The best investment you make in your 20s and 30s. What did you say, Pam?
It's all up to you.
Yeah. It's all up to you. How you live, what you achieve, it really is all up to you. Yes, I know there are other things like your family, how you grew up, and all of these things. And many people come from challenging backgrounds, for sure. We're not discounting that. But at the end of the day, it's up to you what you make of your life. Full stop. No one is coming for you. No one is coming to save you. So I hope you've learned a couple of things from this video, and I hope that you make the best investments right now, because right now is the time to make those investments, regardless of how scary it is. So I will see you soon. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe, send it to a friend, and bye for now.